It was the night before Thanksgiving when Emily's life changed forever, though she didn't know it yet. The diner was nearly empty, rain tapping gently against the windows as if the sky itself mourned something unseen. Emily, a 24-year-old waitress with tired eyes and a kind smile, was refilling salt shakers and counting down the minutes to closing. She didn't expect anyone else to walk in, not with the storm rolling in. But then the bell above the door jingled. He walked in slowly, hunched beneath a threadbare coat, his shoes soaked and falling apart at the seams. Most customers would have pretended to check their phones or stared out the window to avoid eye contact. But Emily had seen him before, once, twice, maybe more, always nearby, always quiet. A ghost of the streets. "Just a coffee," he said in a voice as rough as gravel. Emily nodded and poured him a fresh cup, setting it down with a gentle smile. "On the house," she said, brushing aside his attempts to pull a few crumpled coins from his pocket. She could see the shame in his eyes. "It's the holidays." "It's nothing." The man, he said his name was John, sat in the corner booth, sipping slowly. He didn't speak much. Just thanked her, again and again, his words soft but heavy with gratitude. As the hours passed and the diner emptied, Emily found herself stealing glances at him. Something about him stirred something deep inside her, not pity, but a quiet ache of recognition. She'd grown up with less than most. Her mom had worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Emily remembered eating peanut butter for dinner and pretending it was a feast. She knew what it felt like to be invisible. That night, as she counted her tips, barely $60, an idea struck her. The next day, Thanksgiving morning, Emily woke up early. She stopped by the grocery store, using every dollar from the night before. Turkey breast, potatoes, cranberry sauce, pumpkin pie. She packed everything into 2 bags and walked the few blocks to the alley where she'd seen John sleeping before. "Hey," she called gently, not wanting to startle him. John blinked awake, eyes wide with confusion, then awe, as he saw her holding out the food. This is for me." She nodded, tears already stinging her eyes. "Happy Thanksgiving." He was speechless at first, then cried, silent, broken sobs that tore at her heart. They ate together in the alley, sitting on crates and laughing like old friends. He told her stories from his youth, about how he'd been in the military, how life had unraveled after losing his wife and son in a car accident. One thing led to another: grief, isolation, addiction, and eventually, the streets. Emily listened, really listened, her heart breaking with every word. "No one's ever done this for me," he whispered. That could have been the end of the story. But it was only the beginning. What Emily didn't know was that a tourist had walked by and snapped a photo of the two sharing Thanksgiving dinner in the alley. The post went viral overnight. Waitress uses her tips to feed a homeless veteran on Thanksgiving. Humanity restored. By morning, it was everywhere. Reporters showed up at the diner. Donations flooded in. People from all over wanted to help. But the biggest shock came 3 days later. A man in a dark suit entered the diner, asking for John. Emily tensed. Was he in trouble? But the man introduced himself as a lawyer. John, it turned out, hadn't always been homeless. He was the missing heir of a multi-million-dollar estate. A reclusive grandfather had left a fortune behind, but John had been untraceable for over a decade. The lawyer had been searching for years. Emily stood frozen as the man told John everything: the inheritance, the estate, the second chance. John broke down again, this time in utter disbelief. "I don't want the money," he said at first. "I just wanted to be seen." But he did accept it, not for himself, but to create a foundation for homeless veterans. And the first person he hired was Emily. 6 months later, Emily stood on stage beside him at a press conference. She wore a simple dress, but her presence was radiant. John spoke softly to the crowd. "I lost everything. I lost myself. But one waitress, one human act of kindness, gave me hope again. She reminded me I wasn't invisible. She gave me family when I had none." The crowd was silent, many wiping away tears. That Thanksgiving meal, born from a few crumpled dollars and an open heart, had changed 2 lives, and inspired millions. In a world that often feels cold and fast, this story reminds us of something simple and powerful: kindness matters. A small act can ripple into something far greater than we ever imagine. And sometimes, the people who seem to have the least are the ones carrying the greatest stories. All it takes is someone willing to listen. And someone willing to care.